Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Wednesday! It is Self-Care Wednesday. It's the day after my birthday. I'm excited. And really the beginning of a lot of stuff this month. But anyways, to everybody that celebrated on the birthday box, thank you for being on there and for joining in on that. Thank you to everybody who sent me stuff and all the messages. Let's get rolling. Good morning, Lori Bradford. It is Wednesday, and we start out Wednesday with self-care, and then I'm going to get into card number 31 of getting into self-awareness, getting into the vortex, all those things. So, let's see. I have mindfulness and inspirational, because I didn't bother to come up with anything else. I really wanted to talk about age for Self-Care Wednesday, but maybe we'll cover that next week. So, wow, there's a lot of cards floating out here for Self-Care Wednesday. In the mindfulness, I think this is the mindfulness deck. No, the inspiration deck. The inspiration deck. I don't know if you saw them, but there were some cards that came out flying. So, all right, let's see. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So these are basically quotes from people, well-known people, I guess. In fact, the one staring at me right now is Woody Guthrie, and I actually saw his his biography with David Carradine. Fascinating life. But anyways, so we'll start with him, Woody Guthrie. I knew what you meant, Lori. Anyways, one day we'll all find out that all of our songs were just little notes in a great big song. So one day we'll all find out that all of our songs were just little notes in a great big song. But that doesn't mean that your note in the great big song isn't something big. What it means is that we're all basically the same, no matter how different we think, no matter how much we agree. There's a lot of difference, and there's a lot of diversity, which is what the vortex cards, the self-awareness cards, have been talking about. And it's important to really kind of discover that and to embrace the differences in one another. So, because really we are all notes in a great big song. And, we don't want... Some people make the song off key, right? Because, just the anger sometimes and the disagreements and all that. So let's try to do our best to make the song flow beautifully. So, Madonna. This one's from Madonna. A lot of people are afraid to say what they want. That's why they don't get what they want. I like that. A lot of people are afraid to say what they want. That's why they don't get what they want. Now, there's a nice way to say things, and there's a mean way to say things. So you can be a jerk about it and probably get what you want, but along with that you get a reputation. Or you can continue to ask for what you want in a very kind way, while also, it's a give and take. Okay, it's a give and take. If you're constantly taking, eventually something's going to come along and take from you, because the taking without any, giving back is basically telling the universe, I'm the only one that deserves anything. And you know what? Sometimes your higher powers, they might sit there and go, you know what? You need a reality check, and you need to be put back into check. So remember, it's okay to ask for what you want, but be kind about it. Be grateful. Show gratitude for that. I mean, that's basically the whole basis of that. Be grateful. All right, let's see. Jack London, famous author, Jack London. You can't wait for inspiration. Sometimes you have to go after it with a club. I don't know if he means the kind of club you hit somebody with or a group of people, but it's Jack London, and considering some of the stories that he's written about wildlife, I'm guessing he means with like, but please don't beat anything up. Please don't go after something beating something up, all right? I just realized I didn't change my glasses today. That's all right. You can't wait for inspiration. Sometimes you have to go after it with a club. I saw a really good quote today that talked about, because I've been struggling with my creativity, and they were, it was kind of talking about like anxiety and all this stuff, and how sometimes these weird things can just stop us from, like our brain can just stop us from being that creative person that we truly want to be. So, I really kind of dug into that, and I apologize for the pausing, but I'm actually looking up the quote now because it was really good. I just don't know which one of my Twitter accounts it was on, so I will find it. Okay, I think it's the other one. So let's see. Let me go to the other one. The reason I'm kind of pausing here is I really think it's important for people to hear this, especially for creative people, whether it's writing or not, whatever sparks your joy, whatever brings you joy. Sometimes we hold ourselves back without really even realizing it. But, okay, for some reason I am not finding it, so let's see. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. I'm going to find it and I'm going to make it ours, all of ours. The funny thing is I actually saved it to my phone, but I forgot to write it down. So anyways, please, I'm sorry, you can bear with me for another moment. Let's see. It really kind of hit me between the eyes because it was something I personally needed to see, and here it is. Writing is often where we let our shadows take the lead. No wonder we can spend years avoiding the page. So again, writing is often where we let our shadows take the lead. No wonder we can spend years avoiding the page. And that's Alex Klingenberg. In fact, this can even go with journaling. I had an intake session yesterday to find out which therapist was going to be the best for me. And I'm not going to lie, during that intake, it almost felt like therapy. And I ended up going back to the Floof book. I have a whole new tab, part two, because it turns out fear is still very prominent in my life. It's just, I think, it's so funny. It's like I went to bed, being 49 and just feeling all kinds of stupid. And then when I woke up, I felt like there was all this clarity. And I don't know if it's just some magical, birthday fairy that came in and says, everything's going to be better now. You're going to understand everything and deal with it. Or if I just woke up and said, you know what, fuck it. I'm so glad I'm out of my 40s. I'm over it. And I want to move forward. I want to, push through that. And I think where it says, no wonder we can spend years avoiding the page, I think that goes with journaling too. Our shadow selves is where we hold all of our pain. It's where we kind of sit and nest, and we're like that little birdie that doesn't want to leave the nest, right? And the mom has to push it out, and you're just kind of like, nope, sorry, you're out. But because if you don't, they never learn how to fly, right? And then they can't create their own family, and then, the species dies and all that good stuff. Well, all that bad stuff, really. So, I think it's good for us to, really kind of take that, and whether it's writing or not, whether it's some kind of creative outlet for you. But maybe we could even say creativity is often where we let our shadows take the lead. No wonder we can spend years avoiding the page, the canvas, the computer, the pen, the speeches, just the things that bring you joy. If you really kind of turn around and think about that, you can really put that into really anything. You can put it into anything because it's really right there. I know, I'm sorry, I'm like trying to save it here. So, all right, let's move on before I get more distracted. So this was Johann G. von Herder. Without inspiration, the powers of the mind remain dormant. There is a fuel in us which needs to be ignited with sparks. So without inspiration, the powers of the mind remain dormant. There's a fuel in us which needs to be ignited with sparks. That kind of goes with the one I just read, right? What if you're missing that spark? What if you're missing that feeling of joy and that wonder and that awesomeness? Then, you're just going to be kind of like, you're going to be existing through life. And you want to do more than just exist through life, right? You want to live it. You want to be a part of it. So this one, I'm going to end the inspiration ones with Lucille Ball. One of the things I learned the hard way was that it doesn't pay to get discouraged. Keeping busy and making optimism a way of life can restore your faith in yourself. I have a friend this morning that was, we were continuing our conversation from yesterday's birthday conversation, and she says to me, every morning I wake up, I will do my best to make sure it's a positive day. And she says, some days are harder than others, but it's not wrong. And that's kind of what I was talking about. It's like, not every day is going to be a great day. But if we give ourselves that leg up, we give ourselves that opportunity to make it a good day, to make it a wonderful day, to really kind of just settle into the idea of optimism, we can restore that faith in ourselves. It's not always easy. I'm not talking about lightness and darkness. What I'm talking about is finding this place where you feel you belong in your life. We spend so much time trying to figure out where we fit into the world that we forget to figure out where we fit into our own lives. And I think that's where it starts. When you figure out where you fit into your own life, you figure out where you fit into the world. That just flew out of my mouth, so I know that came from somewhere. And probably not me, but I would like to think I'm that profound. So I'm going to do the alchemical thoughtful cards. Thought cards. These are kind of fun. They get a little naughty, but they're fun. Oh my God, celebrate your life right now, immediately. Celebrate your life right now, immediately. See? All these cards, they're speaking to us. They're saying, hey, you know, do it. Do it. So let's see. Let your fears be your fuel. Chaos is the alchemical path to life. Forge your own reality now. So if you need that spark, to ignite that flame, right, that Von Herder was talking about, grab it, right? Grab that fear and light it. Light the fuse. Light the fuse. Everywhere you go, you take you with you. You can't escape your stories. You can only change them. Love who you are here and now. Love who you are here and now. I'm going to put that one aside because I'm going to read that one last again. You are a soul living in a flesh temple made of stardust, riding a rock through space. Don't sweat the small stuff. You are pure magic and mystery. You know, when you really stop and get back to the root, right? Get back to the root of all of our being. We really are kind of magical beings. And, you know, it's been studied that we only use about 10 to 12% of our brains, which means all those people that are geniuses out there, they're using more than that. They're unlocking stuff inside of them that, you know, and there's people that I think that can't even communicate with us on our levels, where their whole brain, I think, is just kind of unleashed. And it's hard because the vibration of this world doesn't exactly let us embrace that. Instead, we belittle people, we make fun of them, and sometimes they make it hard because, you know, sometimes super smart people can be difficult to deal with, but a lot of times it's because they don't understand. They're living on a level that a lot of us will never live on. And it's hard to find that balance. So, all right, well, we got enough on these. So we're going to finish up with the mindfulness box, and then we're going to get into self-awareness. All right, let's do this. The gift of anger. That's interesting. All right, let's see how we can make this a positive thing. The gift of anger. When you are feeling angry, notice the sensations you feel. What color do you envision the anger to be? What texture? What shape is it? Where do you feel the anger in your body? Now imagine that anger is your good friend. What is it telling you you need? Imagine that anger is your good friend. What is it telling you that you need? I like that. A lot of times when we get angry and we really don't know why we're angry, there could be a root there. There could be something in there. You know, there's the phrase, hurt people. But a lot of times people don't realize they're hurt. You may have had trauma. Maybe you went through a bad time. Maybe you're grieving and you lost somebody. And so all this anger, it comes up and it fuels, you know, whatever pops up on a screen, right? I mean, have you ever watched... I'll just say a commercial. Say you're watching a commercial, you might be laughing your ass off, but then all of a sudden you're not having the best day. The commercial comes on again. You're like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But you've completely forgotten that, you know, maybe 5 days earlier you were chuckling your head off at it. That's the anger. Where's that anger coming from? That's why journaling is such a wonderful thing. I'm pointing to my journal over here. But that's why journaling is such a beautiful thing, because it is, whether you're a writer or not, you don't have to be. You know, I started journaling in my book 2 weeks ago because I knew there was something in there. I was feeling agitated. I'm like, something needs to come out and I don't know what it is, so I need to figure it out. I started journaling about one thing and boy, I ended up in a whole different section of my brain. Like, oh yeah, I'm in the archives again. You know, that little, you know, it's like, I like to think, I read the book and I saw the movie Dreamcatcher, right? Stephen King. And I was just kind of like, I remember the guy had like all these file cabinets, right? The visual in the movie is the guy had all these file cabinets. And that's the way I kind of like to think of it, except my brain is like a library. You know, there's the quiet place, there's the courtyard outside where people can chit chat and maybe a nice fountain and just kind of relax, meditate, find your zen. There's the archives, and then there's this basement where you keep all the crap, right? And it's a cluttered basement. It's not a clean basement. If it was a clean basement, you could just go down there and say, hey, this is what I needed to find, blah, blah, blah. So when we have this anger, sometimes it's this basement that needs organizing. Why am I feeling this way? You know, and sometimes the basement might sit right underneath the archive. It might even be a trap door, right? Like there's like this secret wall and you move the wall and there's this door that goes into the basement where there's even more hidden stuff, but it's so dark in there that you've forgotten about it. And sometimes these things come up. Sometimes it's a place, you know, sometimes we keep things in the dark because it keeps us safe. But, you know, the patterns that you used to survive, you know, whatever it is you've been through, may not be the patterns you need to thrive. You know, growth is scary. Growth is change. You know, growth is change. And it's super duper scary. Wait, sorry, hold on, guys. It can be super duper scary. I'm looking for something else that I posted the other day, yesterday actually, that a friend really liked. And I think it's really going to be helpful for this particular perspective. So I wrote truth to what I'm about to read you. Growth changes us, but old patterns don't always want to set you free. Sometimes you have to break free. And this is what I was referring to from Dr. Thema. Pay attention to your patterns. The way you learn to survive may not be the way you want to continue to live. Heal and shift. And I figured out that's where I'm stuck. I'm struggling with the shifting part. I've healed, but I can't seem to shift. And therein lies the problem. Because it's like, that's when you shift and you shift gears, that's when you go faster. That's when everything gets better. And so that's where I'm kind of hung up. But that is really about growth. And sometimes we're afraid of that. Sometimes we're so used to a certain feeling that, you know, maybe it just becomes a part of us. We don't even realize it anymore. But let's see. The happiest day. That's funny. We go right from the gift of anger to the happiest day. Close your eyes. Think about the happiest day of your life. Try to remember everything that you can about that day in as much detail as possible. Consider your senses. What did you eat? What could you hear? How did you feel? Or how did this day feel to you? That's a good one, you know, especially when you're not in a good place, when you're not feeling your sugary, amazing, shiny, sunshiny self. Solo date. I love doing this. Okay, I'm single, so solo dates are kind of the thing for me, but every so often we are lacking in love for ourselves. Set a date in which you organize all the things you love to do. Treat yourself to your favorite food, drinks, and activities. It is important to foster a positive relationship with ourselves and treat ourselves with love and kindness. Solo dates are fun. You know, if you are in a partnership, take yourself on a solo date. All right, don't worry. You know, like, I know some people are like, but I don't want to sit in a restaurant by myself because it feels weird. I will tell you, the very first time I ever did that, it felt weird to me. But by the time I was done, I thought, wow, this was the most mind-blowing thing that I've done for myself at that point in my life. It's like, you know, you're there, you're focusing on, you know, what you're eating because you don't have someone talking to you, distracting you, right? You're focusing on the drinks, you're focusing on, you know, whatever. I brought my journal with me, so I was writing, but I was also taking in the entire atmosphere. I actually brought myself to my favorite restaurant in LA, Michelli's, and they put me in the back corner, up in this one area where I like to sit, but nobody else likes to sit. And I was kind of in the little back corner by the kitchen, but I was by myself, so it didn't matter. But, you know, I would hear the music. I was just kind of sitting there taking everything in. Just taking everything in. And sometimes when you're by yourself, the waitstaff feels so sorry for you. They check on you more often. Can I get you anything else? Hey, you want more rolls? Yes, I would love more of those rolls. But, but they look, I don't think it's pity. I think it's just like, oh, well, you know, this person's by themselves, so... And, you know, maybe they have something going on, maybe whatever. But I did start out small. I was at a fast food restaurant the very first time I ever ate by myself. And I thought, look around. We're not the only ones eating by ourselves. There's no shame in it. It can really be quite mind-blowing and mind-expanding. So set your intentions. Remember this or something better. Before getting out of bed in the morning, set your intentions for the day. Set achievable, realistic goals and mindfully complete them. By the evening, you will feel more fulfilled having consciously achieved your goals. If you struggle with your mental health, this can be fabulous. This can be fabulous because you're giving yourself something to focus on instead of being in your head all day. So this is actually great. I'm going to put that aside because I'm going to post that later. Exercise. Movement releases endorphins in the body, which keeps our minds and bodies healthy. Due to our busy lives, we can often not find time to fit in exercise. Schedule at least 15 minutes a day of physical activity where you focus solely on being active. I know I'm terrible at this. Can you tell? When this is a part of your routine, it will become habit more easily. Agreed. Let's see. Be prepared. Do a favor for your future self. At night, choose an outfit for the next day. Make sure it's clean, steamed, or ironed as needed. Hang it up. Taking choices out of your morning will allow you to be more present in your morning activities, making coffee, eating breakfast, drinking water, etc. If you're one of those people that kind of like to fly by the seat of your pants, but you run out of time in the morning, maybe pull out a shirt or pull out a top, right? Whatever it is. You pull out a top and then figure out what shoes and bottoms should go with it. Or pull out the bottoms and maybe a pair of shoes. And then the next day be spontaneous and pick out whatever, top you want to wear with that. So that can sometimes help you still be spontaneous. It takes at least half of the decision out. And you're ready to go. I tell you, I used to love picking out my outfits the day before work because it was just like, there really is more time in the morning for you. Of course, it was just more time for me to goof off because I'm terrible at managing my time. But I'll get better at it, as you can tell, because I was 2 minutes late to this show. But and I was up early. But yeah, I need to work on better time management. And here's the thing: I sit with a planner. I have a million alarms on my phone in the morning, and I've just been ignoring each and every one of them. And I really do believe it's because I do have to get back into my head and do that journaling. I have to find out what is blocking me, because I usually am I'm pretty decent at being organized when it comes to time. Not always, but most of the time, yes. That's why I have alarms. I keep myself on track for different things. But I think I took spontaneity too far to the other end. But anyways, light a candle. When you need to bring yourself back to the present, light your favorite candle. Breathe deeply. What does the candle smell like? Move your hands safely around the flame. Excuse me. How does the temperature change when your hands are closer or farther from the flame? It's going to hurt. Don't touch the flame. But anyways, yeah, I would just say instead of touching the flame, focus on it. Watch the way it moves. Sometimes you're just sitting there and out of nowhere it might wiggle and you're like, whoa, where'd that happen? I'm not breathing on my candle. Well, I'm actually talking about mine because mine's in a glass. But you see the flames move. Focus on that. Breathing. It's no secret that focusing on your breathing is a great way to calm down if you're stressed. But don't wait until then. To help you focus, practice breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. If this proves difficult, count down breaths from 20. It may seem too easy, but it will help get rid of those distracting thoughts. All right. So I have 2 that I'm saving for the end, but it's time to get into self-awareness. Self-awareness, card number 31, getting into the vortex, which to me is the kind of the core of your soul, where your self-awareness is. So I came as an extension of source energy. So this one may not be for everybody. And not every card is going to be for everybody. But this is why I really kind of ask people to just go from 1 to 60. All right. We're in the second half of this deck now. And, it's really going to start putting in there that all these cards, literally in order, are building up to something. It's building up to the goal. It's giving you and teaching you, sorry, my nose just started running, teaching you the tools that you need to move forward in your life, to be active, to have better time management, to manifest everything you want, to see the world not through, angry eyes, but compassionate and empathetic eyes that, embraces the diversity of everybody in this world. So again, I came as an extension of energy, source energy. I came as an extension from source energy. You came as a physical extension of source energy, understanding that you would explore, contrast, causing expansion not only for you, but for all that is. You knew that you could find your way back to the resources of your source by feeling your way and by understanding that the relationship between you and you is not one of separateness, but of alignment and resonance. When you master the art of allowing your consistent alignment with the source within you, every other relationship will be beneficial and pleasurable. So there you go. When it says by understanding that the relationship between you and you, so you is in small letters, and you, the Y, is capitalized. So I'm going to read that again. And by understanding that the relationship between you and you is not one of separateness, but of alignment and resonance. And so the you part is this, the capital Y-U. Capital Y-U. When you master the art of following your consistent alignment with the source within you, the source, every other relationship will be beneficial and pleasurable. So this is what I was talking about earlier when we were going through the self-awareness and, the self-care cards. When you get to that root, when you get to that bottom part of you, it's the gift of anger, right? What is the gift of anger trying to tell you? What is it? Is it telling you that maybe you're not paying enough attention to a certain emotion that you're having? Or maybe you're one of these people that like to push things down? I will tell you, you can push things down, but for most people, I would say for everybody, because that's been my experience and my perspective. I would say everybody, it finds a way back up. It might find its way back up by letting off a little bit of steam here, a little bit of steam there, or maybe it just comes out as an explosion if somebody disagrees with you and you're not having a good day. Or it could be like little tremors, right? Or baby earthquakes. You're not going to get the big one. You're not going to get the 10.0, but you might get a little 3.5 here or a 4.0 there. And, you get a really good shaker at some point. It's kind of like that. It's that anger, right? That sits inside you and you have no idea where it's come from, why it's there. But it's there for a reason. It's there because you stored it there. It's there because something happened to you, or you've gone through something, or you've been in some kind of pain, or maybe something didn't go your way and you stored it there because you didn't deal with it. That's, again, going back to that basement of the library of my mind, right? I've put things in boxes in this basement that I just don't want to deal with. But eventually I have to. And, I can hide it there forever, but what if there's a ticking bomb in there, right? Oh, yeah, okay, now I got to find it, but I can't find it because it's so disorganized in there. Sometimes we have to deal with the things that we don't want to deal with. We have to face it. We have to face that fear. It can be scary, yes. Oh, it can be scary AF. 100%. There's a reason we've buried things. There's a reason we've hidden it away, because we don't want to face it. We don't want to feel those emotions. Maybe the emotions are unfamiliar to you. Maybe you were brought up saying, no, we don't show emotion. We don't do this. We don't do that. We don't hug. We don't feel. We don't do that in public. We do it privately. But when you do it privately, a lot of times you're doing it alone and you're isolating. And so then you can sit there and go, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. I literally, the day before older sibling stepmom passed away, I'm very intuitive. I was eating my dessert and all of a sudden I just started bawling. Out of nowhere, tears just started coming out of my eyes. And she knew, because she knows I'm intuitive, because she's the one that helped me kind of understand that side of me, older sibling is. And she's my soul sister, so you don't get confused and try to figure out, wow, where is this family tree? This family tree is all over the place. No, she's like my best friend, my soul sister, but I call her older sibling because it's exactly what she is to me. And she just knew. And she says, it's time, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it is. And so, we paid the bill, we left, went back to the hospital, and we sat with her a little longer. Because we knew the next day I'm pretty sure we were hoping not, that, maybe there'd be that miracle, but I think we both knew there wouldn't be that miracle. There was too much damage. But I think we knew that'd be the last time that we would be in her presence alive. And so, but it didn't matter. She didn't judge me. I just, I was crying. Nobody really paid attention. Some people might have given the look like, oh, I don't know what they're going through. And sometimes when we do that, somebody, across the restaurant might see you, or across the park might see you, or across the building might see you, like maybe if it's an open floor plan. And they might send up a prayer for you. If you don't believe in prayers, they might send up a good vibe for you. Or they may just say out loud, I hope they're okay. But that's still a positive, vibration coming towards you, coming at you. So we need to have this. I'm going to read the italicized part again, because I think that's the most important part. When you master the art of allowing things to happen, allowing whatever emotion comes up, even if it's anger. It's like it said, the gift of anger, right? The gift of anger seems so confusing because we think of anger as such a negative thing. And for the most part it is, especially when we take it out on other people. But what is that anger trying to tell you? By mastering the art of allowing, your consistent alignment with the source within you, within your self-awareness, within the core of your soul, within that vortex, every other relationship will be beneficial and pleasurable. You'll stop looking at everybody as if, oh great, I'm going to meet up with this person and we're probably going to fight about something. When you think that way, you're literally putting it out there, and it is probably going to happen. But imagine what happens if you say, you know what, I'm so happy and grateful that we just have a wonderful, catching up session. Whether you're going out for dinner, coffee, whatever. I'm just so happy and grateful we have a great catching up session. This will be exciting. This will be fun. And then you'll probably notice that the patterns go in a different way, right? It goes smooth. It goes well. The art of allowing to express our emotions, whether it's anger or sadness or pain or happiness, joy, elation, we are freeing our soul. We're freeing ourselves from those shackles, from those judgments of other people. One of the sayings I had to adopt in the last years of my 40s was, what other people think of me is none of my business. What other people think of me is none of my business. And that's because, and people might say, well, what other people say about me is my business. No, it's not. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not about you. And even if it's that 1 time out of 10 where it is about you, it's not about you. It's somebody seeing something they don't like in you and complaining about it, being angry about it, because maybe that's something they see inside of themselves and don't want to deal with. Maybe, I kept telling older sibling during my healing thing, it's like, no, you have to do this. And then I would come along a certain part. And the other day I told her, I said, I realize that every time I told you you needed to do something, I said, if it didn't come from a higher source, I was projecting because I couldn't do it myself. So I kept saying, no, you have to do it. And maybe it's because I wanted her to do it to show me how to do it. But that's not how life works. We have to figure out how to do it ourselves. We have to figure out that art of allowing to make those relationships of ours more beneficial and pleasurable. When you come into something and you come in the most beautiful form of yourself, yeah, you might have light days, you might have dark days, but when you come in knowing who you are, where that self-awareness is, where that self-care is, where that self-love is, and how much you add to all that the great big song, right? That little note in a great big song. When you realize that your note is just as important as everybody else's notes in that great big song, you come in not worrying, not overthinking, not waiting for the shoe to drop, not waiting for, someone to walk away on you, not waiting for someone to disappoint you. You can't go into relationships expecting somebody to disappoint you. And I even caught myself yesterday when I was talking to older sibling over lunch, my birthday lunch. I told her, I said, whenever I'd start dating a guy and we got serious and it's like, yeah, we're a couple now. The first thing I would say to them is, if you're going to cheat on me, break up with me first, because it'll hurt a lot less. But I'm already putting it out there. And it did happen a couple times. Well, it happened a lot of times in the relationships. But what I'm saying is it happened in a couple of my relationships. But the whole point is that I went into it with the wrong mindset. You can't go into something with one foot in the negative and one foot in the positive. I can't tell you what will happen in that relationship. I can't tell you what's going to happen down the road. I can't tell you if it'll last or if it won't last. Well, I probably could if I opened up the cards, but my point is, we don't know. But what we do know, oh, this is interesting. Okay. But what we do know, sorry, total squirrel. What we do know in all of that is that when we come in with a good mindset, it's not about just them. It's about trusting ourselves. It's about bringing something to this relationship that is so beautiful that it keeps the people in your life. It doesn't matter if it's a significant other or a new potential relationship, or like romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be family. It could be children, your own or somebody else's. When I say somebody else's, I mean your nieces and nephews, or maybe you meet somebody who has a kid. It's all those things. It's all those things. And the beauty of that is when we start to really kind of master that art of allowing, when we give ourselves that grace and that empathy to just be who we are and accept whatever fate may come at us, we handle it better. Like I said, I can't tell you I can't tell you that a friend won't betray you, a family member won't betray you, a significant other won't betray you. But if those things do happen, yes, you're going to grieve. Yes, you're going to be sad. You're going to have pain. You're probably going to have anger. Well, you're probably going to have a lot of anger. But something in the back of your head is going to that little trap door is going to close. Okay? And what it's going to do is it's going to keep you from growing roots in those feelings. Because mastering the art of allowing means you're going to go through all these emotions that you're having, the pain, the betrayal, the anger, the sadness, the grieving over it. And you're going to find a way to give it compassion. You're going to find a way to give it empathy. And you'll be able to move forward. And you don't have to bring the negative people with you, the toxic people. But you're going to find a way to move forward because you're going to realize this is about them. This isn't about me. They can blame me until the cows come home. But I was here to communicate with, and they didn't. I was here asking, are you okay? What can I do? And they didn't answer me. And that's on them. And it sounds harsh when you say that's on them, but it is. We can't always carry the weight of other people's baggages, the weight of their world on our shoulders. Everybody has to carry their own world on their shoulders. And a lot of times people get so bogged down, get so hunched over because, sorry, that made me want to stretch. Because we are trying to fix everybody else. We cannot fix other people. We can only fix ourselves. And so by mastering the art of allowing, you're consistent in alignment with the source within you, every other relationship will be beneficial and pleasurable. And who knows, because you're coming in with that high vibrating feeling, a person that would not normally talk to somebody might say, you know what, I would like to talk. And here's the thing, if it's something they feel you're doing, listen with an open ear. Because sometimes we do things that we don't realize we're doing that might hurt somebody else. Maybe you make a joke and they laugh it off and think, oh, okay, that's funny. But it might hurt them inside. And, the little quips and the little jabs may build and build and build until it just explodes. So listen with a kind ear. Listen with a compassionate ear. Listen with an ear that could be a teachable lesson, a teachable moment for you. None of us are perfect. I have been called out on my shit and it hurt. It hurt bad. But I knew, wow, I got to fix this. And because because I was in the process of mastering the art of allowing, I didn't take it as being offensive. I took it as someone saying, I really, really, really want to make sure that you and I are always on good footing. So this is why I'm telling you this now, because if you keep going down this direction with me, it's not happening anymore. I will walk away. And, you know, there are people in our lives that we don't want to lose. You know, and so sometimes we do overstep, and sometimes we are coming from a good place, but it may not be what they need. And so we don't see it until they say something. So like I said, if somebody says, you know, this is about you, listen to them. And then sit there and say, well, you know what can I do? You know, and don't just ask them, ask yourself that. Journal it, write it down. You don't have to write it in a journal. You can use a computer. You can talk into your phone, you know, or a recording device. You can do anything you want to do. We have to find ways to heal ourselves. We can't walk into every room and think, well, I'm the most normal person here. I'm the only person that has nothing going wrong, so everyone else is below me. And that's how it might feel to somebody else when you've been jabbing them or quipping them and they're just kind of like, you know, you may think you're walking into the room being the light of the world while you may be sucking the life out of somebody else. You might be sucking the air out of the room for other people. And it doesn't make you bad. It just means you're trying to come from a good place, but your good place isn't somebody else's good place. Everybody has to figure out their own path. Everybody has to figure out their own life. You can be there for them. You can be an ear for them. If they ask you, what would you do? Just say, well, if it were me, this is what I would do. Don't sit there and say, well, I think you should, blah, blah, blah. No, just say, if it were me, I would probably do this. And be honest if you can't think of anything. It's like, I have no idea what I'd do in your situation, but here I am trying to fix it. You know, so we can't. And that's been the hardest lesson for me, because I think when we do that, we're trying to come from a place where we just don't want to see the people we care about hurting. But we can't heal them until they're willing to take those healing steps themselves. The best we can do is be a net for them, to be a listener, to sit there and say, okay, I'm here for you. Maybe sometimes they just need a shoulder and don't need to say anything at all. But just, it's compassion and empathy. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Think hard about this card. This was a really good one today. And all the self-care stuff we had today was awesome. So I am going to read this card one last time because I really, really liked it. And I'm going to close with it. Set your intentions. Before getting out of bed in the morning, set your intentions for the day. Set achievable, realistic goals and mindfully complete them. By the evening, you will feel more fulfilled having consciously achieved small goals. That was not the card I meant. This was the one. And this one. These were the two I saved for very last. Oh my God, celebrate your life right now, immediately. Celebrate your life right now, immediately. Everywhere you go, you take you with you, right? You and you have been the kind of the Sesame Street word of the day, right? Brought to you by the letter Y and the number 2, because there's 2 U's, the little U and the big U. Everywhere you go, you take you with you. You can't escape your stories. You can only change them. Love who you are here and now. I love that. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and staying, hanging in there. Yes, Lori, I will. You know what? Thank you. I didn't realize you were still on, but yes, I will post a picture of both of these cards. That's actually the other reason I kept it out, because I really want to do that. I will post it on a separate post and I will tag you in the comments. Okay. So, anyways, again, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for card number 32 of getting into the vortex / getting into self-awareness. Please take care of yourselves today. Have a wonderful self-care Wednesday. I post these everywhere. So if you miss it, actually, if you're on Facebook right now and you miss it, you can either go to YouTube where you can click and subscribe to my channel, because I would love to have more people click and subscribe to my channel, or you can just catch it here or on the Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective. All right. And YouTube is also the Aloha Perspective. Have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And remember, celebrate your life. okay? Right now, right here, right now. Have a great day.